It's day 35 of my journey towards writing my fantasy novel. Do you know why I have these on? These are amazing. These are Sony noise canceling headphones. Um, and I've had them on for most of the day. And I play like this binaural kind of EMDR type of like synthesizer sound. And it does a great job shutting out all the noise outside. There's a road here in front of the rectory, and the parish is adjacent to my house. And so whenever they have meetings, I hear the chairs and everything. And I needed this today because I was completely overwhelmed. Today I paid the price for like 3 days in a row of doing way too much. Not only writing, but also like visiting parishioners, going to see friends, traveling, and then yesterday the entire day with that kind of stress for the course on Celtic saints and everything. And this morning I woke up at 5, but not in a good way. I was like, I couldn't go back to sleep anymore. I know that I remember that I was thinking about my novel and about the story, but I was also kind of worrying about, I'm already like 3 days behind now on my writing goals, and can I make up for that today? But then I also was just exhausted. I was so tired, so I stayed in bed until I think 8, and then I literally was kind of on the floor on hands and feet, kind of crawling to the coffee maker. Just I was like, this is I'm totally dead today. And I just noticed also that I couldn't stand any noise, and that is a sign of overwhelm. And despite the fact that writing itself is calming, as I told you before, um, it still nothing came out. I was just, "Ooh, this is not a good day. It's another nope day." Um, so I had this on my head, and then I tried to write some stuff down this morning. Someone warned me, and thank you for that, against trying to rewrite the first chapter over and over again. So this is one of the things I did the second day. I was like, I rewrote most of the first chapter, and that person correctly said, that is a trap. It's a trap. Don't do it, because the first draft is a first draft for a purpose. It's you are telling the story to yourself. That is the purpose, and then later drafts will be the refinement and the improvement and all of that. So I think the reason that I did do a partial rewrite is that I discovered that I still didn't really get my main protagonist, and that's kind of a problem, in the sense that Ty, formerly known as Tim, uh, needs to have a need. He needs to have a desire that is unfulfilled, and it would be really nice if in the first chapter he's got the worst day of his life. I mean, his regular life is we need to be introduced to that need, that dream that he has. Even like Luke Skywalker, like, I wanted to go to Toshi Station to pick up some power converters and meet my friends, and then his uncle is the gatekeeper. Is like, no, I want you to work here, and you can play with your friends when you're done working. So it's kind of that. Um, and I just realized that the need that I had come up with for Ty is just way too vague and a bit too artificial. So it's like, he wants to be a scribe. He wants to be a scribe. Yeah, why? Why does he want to be a scribe? What, yeah, he's creative. He likes drawing, etc. He's a dreamer, and he thinks it's going to be really. That it is not very convincing. That's what I told myself today. It's like, it doesn't work. I need something. I need higher stakes for him. I need an external motivation, or, well, both an external and an intrinsic motivation for him wanting to become a scribe. And I found the solution later today in his little brother. And his little brother is deaf, and he's constantly sick. And I think the main desire, because I want Ty to be very relatable, he's super sympathetic. He's a good boy. he's just he always plays it by the rules because he always wants to protect everyone. And that is his flaw. That is his biggest. But it's not out of selfishness or because he's, I don't know, clumsy. No, it's because he knows that if he makes a mistake, other people will pay the price. And that gave me an amazing idea that his desire to join the scribes is because he knows that that power has the strength to heal people. That is what story mages do. They go and travel around, and when they sense that there is a village where there's an outbreak of an infectious disease, they go there to use their story magic to heal the people, right? Or to prevent the outbreak from spreading. If there is a fire, they go there to use the story magic to alert people that their town is about to get burned, etc., etc. So Ty feels like he is even like angry at the whole system that they are not healing his little brother. Why? Because ideology. This is the abbot who has like a bad influence on the, let's say, the spirituality of the monastery. The abbot keeps saying magic is not for everyone, and if your little brother is deaf and if he's constantly sick, then ask yourself if your parents did something wrong. Maybe it just runs in the family because you are a bunch of, this dysfunctional kind of. You don't deserve. You don't deserve the magic. You're not good at. You're not worthy enough. So it's this whole like contorted way of thinking that God punishes people that He doesn't like. But it's a projection, of course, of the abbot's dislike of people and his cruelty on God. But hey, one thing I learned about 6th century monasticism is that 100% absolute blind obedience to the abbot was highly valued. And you find this in almost all descriptions that we have of monastic life in those early Christian centuries, is that the obedience was one of the most important values in the life of a monk, which obviously creates a lot of possibility for abuse of that power. And so, and we know that now because we've seen the incredible damage that this kind of hierarchical, like almost military structure can cause, the harm that it can cause people if the leaders take advantage of that. That is exactly why the abbot in my story is so evil, because he's manipulating everyone under the guise of it's God's will, So anyway, this is why Ty feels he must do anything he can to become a scribe so that maybe he can heal his little brother. That's what he wants. That is not his own ambition. It is because he knows that maybe he can save his little brother. He loves his little brother, and his parents have brought. This is what I wrote right before I started recording. I learned something today about writing, and it was such an eye opener. I saw a video on TikTok, and there was this how do you call these people that screen books to like an agent or an editor, and she said, you know what goes wrong in a lot of like first novels of authors that I read, they struggle with like telling the story, and it's always because it's like, and then this happened, and then that. They describe it as outsiders. It's as if they're standing there and they're just taking notes. And then obviously that makes for some very clunky reading. And she said, what you want to do is not describe the events, and then he said this, and then he walked there, and then no. You want to help the reader experience what happens. You want to feel what your protagonist is feeling. And that, I was like, of course. That is so amazing. That helps me to write things in a much more personal way. I can go much deeper in terms of emotions. And I started to immediately apply this to a scene where this was after the morning prayer. Did I share that already? I don't think so. I wrote it. I wrote that on Sunday, I think, in the train. So In the first chapter, Tai wakes up and there's morning prayer. Like really early in the morning. That's when he has his first skerfuffle with the evil twins, and then they have he has breakfast with his little brother, and his little brother sits opposite him on the other side of the table eating his porridge, and that brings back all these memories. And Tai remember, has it been only a year that we were sitting at home with our parents, and my little brother, his porridge would always get cold. Why? Because he was always like using sign language to tell me his dreams. And Ty remembers how he was always so baffled that in his dreams his little brother was a hero. He would fight dragons, and he would like sail the seas and discover new countries, and in real life, he could barely make it to the well to wash himself without getting out of breath or coughing his lungs out. And so he has these memories, and he feels a pang of like nostalgia, and he's a bit homesick. He misses his parents, and then he's like, just 3 weeks ago, has it been 3 weeks since my little brother, since I was alerted by that the abbot wanted to see me, and my parents were standing there outside the gate with my little brother, and my mother was in tears, and my father gave like a satchel to the abbot, and the abbot said, "Okay, so your little brother is now going to be with us, and you have to make sure that he understands the rules because he's deaf, and you'll have to make sure that he obeys. I don't want him to cause any trouble." So it's kind of the jerk that this abbot. I hate him so much. I mean, he's fictional, but I hate him so much. And then his father takes him aside. He says, he takes him by the shoulders, and please, take care of your brother. We had no choice. He has no future. Your mother and I have to work all day long, and ever since you left it, your brother is getting sicker and sicker. We brought him here because And then he's like, looks at the abbot and whispers, "You know that they have medicine here. They have magic. These story mages can heal him. And that plants a seed in Ty's head. It's like, yeah. So why don't they? And then later on, the abbot will, of course, prohibit that. No magic for magic is only for our export. It's not for our. If a monk gets ill, then he's just not good enough. He's not strong enough. We don't work with losers here. So anyway, but just the realization that if I would describe everything that happened through not just the eyes, but through the heart of Ty, it makes it so much better. And when I was writing that, I was like, I feel all sorts of things. I hate that abbot. I want to comfort the Ty's mother, and I want to tell his father it's going to be all right. I know what Ty is going to save the day, not the way you think he is, but trust me. So I almost feel protective now, and it's all because this approach in writing made me feel what Ty is feeling, and that I hope is also going to translate to you as a reader or as a future reader, that you will have that same emotional connection with the story. So that was absolutely an incredible gift today to have discovered that, but I didn't write much. I just wrote that particular scene where little Brendan is brought to the monastery. So again, didn't hit my mark, but I'm fine. In fact, I've been actually asleep in the afternoon after lunch. I completely collapsed, so it's overwhelm. And I know when that happens, I can sit here in front of the computer, but it's not going to work. I have to go and literally like close my eyes, put some of that, the synthesizer music on, and just completely try to calm my mind down. And so I made some dinner, then I sat down here and I wrote that scene, and it just clicked. And I could continue, but I'm not going to, because it's, what now? It's almost 10 o'clock in the evening. I wanted to share this with you and just put that up so I don't fall behind with my daily journal. But it's okay. I think I feel like I'm in a good place, as a writer right now, and there's still some stuff that I need to figure out, some puzzles in the story, but I think I have something really, substantial here with Chai and his little brother, and this is, the motivation is everything. Without a good motivation, your hero is not going to go on an adventure. The call to adventure needs to touch his heart and our hearts. Otherwise, it's just an external quest and it becomes a video game. Anyway, a bad video game, because there's some good ones there. Thanks for watching. Love to hear your reactions. As always, thank you so much for your interest, for the time you take to watch this. Final thing, I had an interview with Dominic the other day. I think I shared that, but it's online now. And if you go to, what was it, Epic there's a whole YouTube channel. It's Legend Fiction. So if you look for Legend Fiction on YouTube, the newest video is Dominic's interview with me about writing, about fantasy, about being a geek and a priest, and how that works. I thought it was a wonderful conversation. I was really pleased to meet Dominic and to see the good work that he does. So he's like me. He's a Catholic, but so passionate about fantasy, and he's really trying to bring all these fantasy writers together. Check out his channel, and if you have some extra time, go watch the interview. Maybe you'll learn something new about me, or not. I don't know. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care.